Chapter 656, Choosing a Reward. Lumion once again encountered Monsieur Ivoldste, who resided in B18. He still wore a fluffy black hat adorned with a white feather and a complex black robe. With a quick glance, Lumion had already covertly used weakness investigation to search for pale white marks on Ivoldste's body, ready for potential assassinations and surprise attacks. Aurore and Emperor Roselle had always emphasized the need to stay vigilant against others at all times. Of course, Lumion felt that the two of them hadn't done a good job in this matter. Otherwise, they would still be active in the world. At that moment, the pallor on Ivoldste's body concentrated on his dark brown eyes, emitting an illusory quality that seemed unreal. Does this mean he can quickly transform into a wraith, and his eyes are no longer his weakness? As Lumion pondered, he gestured towards the divan in the living room. "Let's chat there." Ludwig, seated at the dining table, glanced at Ivoldste for a few seconds before lowering his head and continuing his meal with a succulent piece of beef. Ivoldste nodded slightly and entered the living room quietly, taking a seat in a corner of the divan. "Are you a student at a primary school? So disciplined," Lumion criticized as he focused on observing Ivoldste's luck. It was relatively normal and nothing special. At that moment, Lumion suddenly had a few thoughts. Luck observation and weakness investigation require the eyes to determine the target's color. However, one focuses on the background color, while the other captures the various colors on the surface of the body. When I become a fate appropriator, could these two abilities fuse and mutate into a more special ability? Why can I only use my eyes to observe these two abilities? Is a blind reaper incapable of attacking a target's weakness? Similarly, is a blind ascetic unqualified to observe others' luck? Can't they rely on their spirituality and ears and nose? Or could it be done at a higher sequence? Lumion eased into the armchair, positioning himself at an angle across from Ivoldste. Flashing a friendly smile, he asked, "What's the matter?" He spoke in Antisian. Ivoldste, as silent as a corpse, straightened up, his eyes deep as he spoke in ancient Fasak. "Allow me to introduce myself. Ivoldste Eggers, a member of the Rose School of Thought and Temperance faction under the Church of the Fool." Lumion's nerves, already tense, heightened. Nevertheless, he maintained a relaxed demeanor, confirming, "Are you Twanaku's liaison?" He switched to ancient Fasak. "No," Ivoldste shook his head. "I've already eliminated that member 15 minutes ago." 15 minutes ago, when I was still with the patrol team, however, you can't expect me to believe you just because you say so." Lumion feigned curiosity and asked, "I recall that you arrived in Port Pylos before Twanaku was exposed. What was your original motive?" "I'm investigating the primitive forest in this area. I'm still in the early stages of gathering more information," Ivoldste replied seriously. "For days ago, I came into contact with Twanaku and obtained some information from him. He seemed fine and was very restrained." He's indeed restrained. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a second serial murder case in Port Pylos only after 4 years, going to the primitive forest to investigate the primitive forest on the surface. The incident in Tizimo town was a sudden attack by a tribe in the primitive forest. Lumion quickly made many connections and said to Ivoldste thoughtfully, "Twanaku once did something in Tizimo town that involved the tribes in the nearby primitive forest. Some of his important items seem to be hidden in Tizimo town. It might also be related to a Noise family demon of unknown sequence." Ivoldste listened in silence, lost in thought. After a few seconds, he said to Lumion, "Thank you for providing this information. It might not be useful for my investigation, but it can let me know what to be wary of." He didn't specify his mission. Clearly, he needed his superior's permission. Lumion responded nonchalantly, "Even if I don't tell you now, you'll find out tonight or tomorrow." Having already reported the matter to Madame Magician, the Major Arcana card holder would undoubtedly inform the Church of the Fool and the Temperance faction in detail subsequently. It wouldn't only be a general outline that mentioned key personnel like before. Ivoldste nodded with restraint and said, "I'm here to express my gratitude and to inform you that we're already investigating any potential problems and latent dangers. Also, if you need help in Matani, Feel free to come to me." All right, Lumion didn't stand on ceremony. After delving into the more serious matters, Lumion, intrigued, asked Ivaldsta, "Why did you add the Rose School of Thought prefix when you introduced yourself? You've already left the Rose School of Thought and joined the Church of the Fool. It sounds as if the Rose School of Thought is affiliated with the Church of the Fool. Our leader specifically requested this. She always believes that we are the true orthodox branch of the Rose School of Thought. Only we represent the Rose School of Thought. Those traitors should change the organization's name, not us," Ivaldsta explained in detail. "Sounds quite stubborn. Aren't you from the Temperance faction? Don't you restrain your emotions and desires in this aspect? Yes, Sequence 5 is Wraith, close to evil spirits, and evil spirits have an extreme side. Is this reflected in high sequence Beyonders of the Temperance faction's corresponding pathway?" Lumion didn't quite understand and tried to make a guess based on the available information. He was just chatting and had no intention of inquiring further. Instead, he asked, "Your last name is Eggers. Was your ancestor a member of the Balam Empire's royal family?" "Yes," Ivaldsta replied proudly, his emotions held in check. "And my mother's lineage is noble from the Highlands Kingdom." For many in the southern continent, the surname Eggers bore unparalleled prestige. It was a symbol of a deity who had once trod the land, a representation of death's dominion over the world. But Lumion's curiosity wandered elsewhere. "I've heard that the mausoleums of the Balam Empire's nobles are constructed upside down underground, much like this hotel. What mystical significance does that hold? Is it simply a way to confront death? And why is death associated with the underground? Shouldn't the underworld exist in the spirit world?" This was the question that piqued Lumion's interest upon learning about the matter. His understanding of mysticism was limited. Ivaldsta pondered for a moment and then explained, "I didn't choose the death pathway. The construction method originated from ancient times, passed down by all the Eggers ancestors, devoted to the deity who controlled death. He embodies the very concept of death. Emulating him is a way to approach the source of death." This mystic explanation resonates with me the most. Over the years, I've heard various interpretations. Some see life and death as opposing mystical concepts. They argue that, just as we stand upright and grow upwards in life, burial upside down signifies the contradiction and connection between life and death. Others believe that true hell isn't in the spirit world or the underworld, but deep underground. Descending further symbolizes reaching true hell and returning to the essence of death. Thus, mausoleums are built upside down, reflecting our intention to face hell, worship death, and return to the source. This is the essence and symbol of mysticism. Some Beyonders of the death pathway don't really approve of the underworld. Can you discover true hell by delving deep underground? Heh, hasn't anyone informed you that the world we're on is essentially a planet? Does this extension reach underground magma and the core? Do they believe that's the genuine hell? Going deeper will traverse the core and the magma, but that'll merely be the other side of the planet, let alone true hell. Lumion found himself increasingly entertained as he listened. Suddenly, he was taken aback. What exists on the opposite side of the planet? I only know of the northern and southern continents. Considering the time difference, they're nearly on the same side. If this world is genuinely a planet, there must be another side. But I've never heard of any continents, just an expansive sea. Wait, how did those giant fellows from the new city of Silver emerge from the forsaken land of the gods? Something must have occurred on the continent on the other side of the planet, abandoned by the deities. Could that be why it's known as the forsaken land of the gods? If I have a chance in the future, I could revisit the new city of Silver and explore the library for books related to the forsaken land of the gods. Lumion reined in his thoughts and continued conversing with Ivaldsta for a while. Eventually, he escorted the former descendant of the Balam Empire's royal family, a member of the Temperance faction, away from this floor. Not long after returning to his room, the doll messenger arrived with a response from Madam Magician. "The information and insights you've gathered this time are exceptionally valuable. It's no wonder my spiritual perception guided me to let you visit the new city of Silver after the Hanth Island demon incident. Reflecting on it, your encounter with Nabordisley seemed almost coincidental. You followed the clues to Hanth Island. You should grasp the significance, right? The situation in this matter both reassures me and intensifies my vigilance and anxiety. When that entity stands by our side, these details are incredibly useful. However, he won't always be with us. When our objectives clash, I can't fathom what challenges we'll face. The same goes for you and me. Therefore, hunters must rely more on their personal growth amidst blood, fire, chaos, and conflict. Many hunters meet their end, using their bones to forge the Red Priest who conquers all. We've already initiated an internal review. It involves a considerable number of individuals and will take a substantial amount of time to complete. Considering your contributions, besides converting the Beyonder characteristic into a sealed artifact, you have the option to choose a reward. Pick one out of two. Here are your choices. 1. The potion formula for the Hunter Pathways sequence, 4 Iron-Blooded Knight. 2. I'll assist you in divining clues about the remaining parts of the abscessed hand's body.